Sherpa, and today is a very special episode. We not only have John on the microphone, say hi, John,
Hello.
as the Sherpa tracker, following me with one of our 4 cameras so you can see every part of the painting action. But we are joined today by Marion, who is an American Sign Language expert, and she's going to be translating all of my Sherpa craziness for you. I'm pretty excited about this, aren't you, John?
I am.
Is the number one thing I'm going to be working on is not just watching Marion. That's what I'm going to be doing. If you're brand new to this, how this works is I paint a thing, you paint a thing, I paint a thing, you paint a thing, and at the end of this, you get a painting. I'm going to explain everything about this. So if you've never painted before, if it's been a really, really long time since you've done any coloring or painting, this is perfect for you. You're going to be able to follow along. We're doing this fantasy American war pony today. Ooh, I think this is so pretty. If you look in the description down below and click the More button, you're going to see that there's a bunch of information about materials and links. One link is to the finished painting that you can print out to help you as reference as we're painting along, and also to a traceable coloring page. I don't think that drawing should be the only reason that you get to do art. Drawing is just one art skill among many, many, many art skills. It isn't what makes us artists. So if you're not at a place where you're ready yet to draw this out with me, don't worry about it. You can go ahead and transfer that on to your canvas. And of course, we have in our videos under our art quest how to get an image on a canvas. How you doing today, John?
Good. I am mildly panicking from all of the extra technical challenges.
Me too. I'm mildly panicking from all the extra technical challenges, but I'm so excited to teach this today and paint this. Everybody be sure to give Marion a lot of love because I imagine this is physically exhausting, and you know how long our tutorials are.
Yep.
So, I'm going to put this aside. And I'm going to pull the canvas today.
Okay, I'm going to make sure my button pushes are working.
You're going to work on your button pushing,
I'm gonna go
right? So I'm going to talk about how I'm drawing this war pony in. Of course, I will share that with you. I pre-sketched this in so I don't get lost while I'm explaining it. But before we sketch it in, we always like to put wishes into our canvas. So this is a 16-inch by 20-inch canvas that's pre-gessoed. You can get them at Michael's or any hobby craft store. And I'm going to write some wishes and then I will sketch this in. I'm using a watercolor pencil.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I use a watercolor pencil is so it doesn't show through the paint. If you were to use a regular pencil, it would bleed through the paint. If you can't get a watercolor pencil, you can use kids' chalk. That disappears too. All right, what are our wishes today, John?
Oh my gosh! So we have a lot of wishes. Well, we have a lot of thank yous out there from Marion, who's helping us out today. So I want to pass that along, and we have a lot of wishes for people to have safe journeys. And I'm gonna scroll back up in here.
So there's a general wish from our community to have a safe journey.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. Let's be safe as we travel.
Yeah, we had safe travels for parents, and let's see here. And then we had some general wishes for love and children coming up. We had a lot of wishes for love and for all the children out there.
Love for all the children in the world. I think that if we just saw that one wish come true, the planet would just be so happy.
And we'll add to that with Valerie's wish to find creativity.
Oh, Valerie is looking for creativity.
No, everyone to find creativity.
Oh, for everyone to find creativity.
Yeah.
Go, Valerie.
Yeah.
I agree. We're better when we're creative.
And we have a wish for our Dotties Spotties to go away.
All right. Go away, Dottie Spotties.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of have an idea what that is.
And Stephanie's mom, she broke her arm this week.
Yes, let's all send out big love to our own Stephanie B's mom. We definitely want her to heal very quickly.
And we have a special wish for Chuck's family, who was in a car accident. His mom and I think his aunt.
That's Chuck Carson, our own animated pencil.
That's right.
I'm so glad they were okay. That was a very scary story. Heal quickly. So definitely where our safe travels are coming from.
Mhm.
And we definitely want people to heal quickly.
Yeah, and a safe spring break.
Safe spring break. Are we coming up on that?
I think so.
Oh, goodness.
Well, Kitty said Winky just wished for a happy and fun spring break. So
I'll go with that. Also happy and fun. All right, I'm out of wishing room. So light keepers, if you see a wish that speaks to you, if we missed an important wish, you can put somebody else's wish in your canvas. You can put any wish in your canvas. It can be serious. It can be silly. All wishes are valid. Let's start sketching our pony in. Our American war pony.
Yes. Oh,
All right.
I even have I had some music for that.
Did you?
I did.
I'm going to sippy sippy.
Okay,
My
you sippy
lemonade.
sippy.
I got sippy sippy lemonade.
I'm going to go scroll over and find.
Sippy sippy is an important part of painting.
What are you sipping?
This is just regular lemonade, but it's super good and refreshing today. I don't really know how to explain that, but it is.
I think that's the. I picked that up yesterday.
Did you?
The lemonade.
Oh, outstanding. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this horse's head. The horse has a big jaw plate here that we're familiar with, and we know that his mouth is down here. If I know I've got those things centered, it helps me understand a little bit on how to draw my horse. I'm going to come a few fingers over, 3 fingers over, and 4 fingers down. And I'm going to draw the curve, this beautiful outward curve of his wonderful neck. This is a nice, beautiful, big muscle, so it should round out a little bit. Right? Then an inch over or so, 2 inches over, so I'm going to bring this nice big jawbone down. Right? I've got this beautiful big jawbone, and that helps me build the socket for the ear. One of the things that when you're drawing a horse, be sure and round that socket out. And then it should dig in. His ears are going to be upright and alert today. Oh, I like this music. And he's going to have another little triangle coming out over here, peeking out. Now I'm going to come down from the top of his forehead. I'm going to arc out, dip down for the eye socket, come back out, and then he's going to dish a little bit. If you're into horses, you'll understand what I mean, this little dish. But he's got a little bump right here. It's not Roman, but it's a little bump. Bring it down to the little muzzle. Curve it in a little bit. Back. And we're going to give him a little bit of a soft mouth. It's wonderful when a horse has what's considered a soft mouth. It's fun to draw. It's fun to ride them. And then just below its little jaw, I'm going to take his little back off here. Right? Now, one of the things when you're drawing anything, when you're just drawing anything, be sure and line up the eye sockets. These are going to be in line with each other. So I always like to make a little curved line that lets me know I've got to make sure my eye sockets are lined up. I arc up, kind of like an eyebrow, come down, and join this in a point. And that's where his eye is going to be. And I know that there's going to be a little temple right there.
Okay, can you zoom the close-up camera out?
Out? Yes, I can go out.
Yeah, we're going to adjust that a little bit.
Or how's that?
I think that's a little better. I'm gonna come over and adjust the white balance, the brightness a little bit.
Oh, I see. That's what I think is wrong, is the white balance. Before you want to do that before I draw on his nose? Or you want me to I can draw on his nose?
You can draw on his nose. I'll come over.
So the thing to think about on his nose is, again, make this little anchoring line so that you line things up. That's a lot of times what it is, whether you're drawing something in fantasy or you're drawing something in reality. Certain things need to always line up. And you can kind of think of a horse's nose a little bit as a teardrop, especially if it's open, if he's sort of snorting. All right. And while I'm here, I'm going to draw in his markings, and that's going to help me know how to paint him in. Now, I based him off a horse I found on Paint My Photo, which is that wonderful photo sharing site.
Yeah.
See, I'm coming around here. He is a Pinto or a paint. He's a paint. He's 3 colors. That's a little thing you might not know. If the horse is 3 colors, he's a paint.
No, you'll have to.
If he's 2, he's a Pinto.
Your crowd Marion, you're gonna have to adjust the close-up camera.
All right, let's not crowd Marion. Can we see that?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Now I'm gonna go back and look at the comments.
Now I'm going
was
to come
off
from
before.
the corner, the anchor of the ear here, and I'm going to make a wonderful meandering Pinto marking down here. This is very much like our clouds. What we don't want to do is overly clown. We want it to seem like random and unexpected. Where this black marking ends, I'm going to pick up another little spot that I'm going to say, oh, this is here. So he's got this spot here. And then I'm going to finish out his little spot on his bummy.
Sorry, I was watching something else.
What were you doing?
It's I couldn't see that you couldn't be seen on the screen.
Oh. All right. So we've got him sort of laid in. Now we know where our paint is going to go. And that makes it easy. Today we've got acrylic paint. The colors are in the description. I would like you to switch out the cadmium red medium to hue only, especially if you're going to be using your kids to make the handprints, because cadmium red medium is toxic if ingested and can be an allergen. So you just don't want to find out that your kid is allergic to cadmium. Likely at this point you're not, but it's just better to be safe than sorry. Yeah, John? All right, so we're going to start out here. We've got cadmium red medium in the hue, and that will save you a lot of money. Cadmium yellow medium in hue, also saving you a lot of money. Yellow oxide, and sometimes they name it yellow ochre. I don't know why paint companies like to name things a lot of different things, but you're looking for yellow oxide, sometimes also called yellow ochre. Burnt sienna, not raw sienna, but burnt, Mars black, titanium white, and phthalo blue. I'm painting pro paints today. Paints like Liquitex. You can get that paint anywhere. And I'm painting golden. But interestingly enough, I really have come to prefer the Galleria acrylic for yellow ochre, which is a mid-tier paint, really economical and a good paint too. So, you know, it's good to go. I'm using Simply Simmons extra firm brushes, and I like them because they're under $3 a piece.
Mm-hmm.
And they really perform great. I think I'm going to start my painting with a number 10 bright. And when I say bright, I mean the brush is square. Whenever we're talking about a bright, we're talking about a square brush. And whatever brush you're using for acrylic paint, you just want it to be too firm, too stiff to be a makeup brush, but not stiff enough to take paint off of your car. That would be the goal. So I'm going to get a little of my Mars black. I've moistened my brush, and I'm pulling my paint from the outside, and I'm going to mix it into my burnt sienna. I'm actually trying to talk a little slower today because I haven't gotten to work with Marion before, and I don't want to wear her out. And I know I get a lot of notes from you guys that I talk pretty fast.
Yeah, you do.
And I'm just trying to be more mindful of how I'm speaking, which is interesting because usually I'm not.
No, normally.
So I'm going to show you the load on my brush. See how it's at the tip? I don't take it all the way up into here. This is the ferrule. I don't take it into there. And I'm going to paint this upper corner and down the neck in this dark, dark brown. How is it going there? What does everyone think about this?
Good. Actually, people are really excited about this. So I'm kind of juggling back and forth with a lot of stuff. I'm really trying to read the comments.
Yeah. It's an extra day.
We have a request from a little brush, but I want to make
Oh.
sure it's from Mianne, and I wanted to make sure I pronounced her name correctly. So there was a little pause while I was waiting for.
What is her request?
She wanted a shout out.
From Me-Ann or Lee-Ann?
It's a Too Little Brush, Mianne.
Me-Ann! Hi!
So there you go.
So Me Ann with an M, that's an unusual and beautiful name.
Yeah, and I saw some of our community was having brush woes. They were having trouble finding
The Simply Simmons.
well, no, they were just they were having trouble finding inexpensive quality brushes, and
Oh.
she was saying that she had stumbled onto her first Simply Simmons. And this is echoing by a couple of different members, but they found the Simply Simmons brushes and just loved them. So
Yeah, it was an accident on how I found mine. My mom left hers here, and I kidnapped it, she says.
yeah,
I say it was abandoned.
hmm
You know, leave a brush, becomes my brush. If I got to wash it, it's mine. So I'm changing up the amount of paint I have over here of the brown, and I've added a little more brown to the mix so that it's a little warmer,
yep,
right? So if we were thinking about the paint mix, it's like maybe 1 black to 2 brown or 3 brown. And so we're still tinting the black down, shading the brown with the black. See, now I realize how much I misstate stuff because I'm thinking about somebody having to translate it. Isn't this interesting?
yeah. So I'm so is this a 1 hoot, a 2 hoot, or a 3 hoot?
This is a 2 hoot.
This is a 2 hoot painting.
This is a 2 hoot painting. And what we mean by 2 hoots is that if you've never, ever, ever painted before, this might be a little more challenging. You can do it.
Yeah.
You can get it done because of the way we teach it, but you just might find that you're working a little harder. But if you've done 2 or 3 paintings with us,
Uh-huh.
2 or 3 of our 1 hoot paintings, you would find this very easy to do. All of our paintings are for beginning artists. They go from just first time ever painting, which is 1 hoot, to 2 hoot, that's a confident beginner. You know, you understand about the paint and how to load it on and the canvases and everything. To 3 hoot, which is an advanced beginner. But they're always fully guided,
Yeah.
which is why they're all listed for beginners.
But for those of us, for those who are just joining us,
Yeah.
we rate them on hoots
Hoots.
because of an owl hoots, and you like owls.
And I like owls. And I'd like us not to take art so seriously. That's important, not to take your artwork. You got to enjoy your artwork, but not take your artwork so seriously that it takes the fun out of it. I'm going to pull a little yellow oxide over to this mix. I'm mixing it in. And you can see I'm working from the outside of my paint. I'm using good paint management.
We have a lot of little brushes with us tonight.
Do we have little brushes with us? Because we're painting such a fabulous,
Mhm.
fantastic war pony.
We have little brush Raven.
Hi, Raven.
I love when we have new little brushes with us.
I do. So I'm not too worried about my brush stroke here. Are you noticing that, John?
Yeah.
Right, let me move the close-up camera over here. And I'll zoom in a little bit, and we'll see if we can't see how that is. And I will paint around Marion. It's sort of fun. It's a new game. So I haven't rinsed my brush out. It still has a little of the black paint in it. And I'm adding yellow oxide and burnt sienna. And this is giving me a nice glow that'll go around my wonderful pony here. I don't know why I decided he was a pony instead of a horse, but I just felt like he was.
I think because you rode ponies.
I think because I had a pony.
Yeah.
I had a buckskin paint pony when I was a young girl named Whiskey.
Yep.
I named him.
And you rode a lot.
I did. I rode a great deal. I used to ride in the National American Trail Ride Conference.
Wow.
So I rode all over the country, long distance, on my pony. See, that's where my I'm National Velvet joke comes from. You married a horse person. You just don't know it because we don't have horses.
It's true. It's true. We've never really had. We've never had horses.
They are expensive to keep. and we haven't been able to really have them. I'm sure they'll come into our lives again someday.
So, Charisse was asking if it's important to keep a wet edge when painting a background.
So I like to work my wet edges, like if you see right here. Let's go up close and you can see the wet edges. It's kind of brown into brown. But it allows me to get a softer blend. And also the stiffness of my brush allows me to get a nice feathered blend. And the way I'm breaking up my brush strokes going this direction and some different directions also creates a sort of leather effect. If you think about painting a wall, that might be how you'd get the wall in to create that leather. If you were doing that.
Neat.
I'm going to rinse out my brush.
Okay.
And probably sippy because I'm feeling a little overexcited.
Well, we have an abundance of people from the Netherlands with us today. And
Hi, Netherlands.
And I say that because I believe there's a lot of chatting in Dutch. So it's really interesting.
So we have all kinds of languages here
We
today.
do. We do. It's I think we have 227 people with us right now.
Wonderful.
Which is I want to take time thank everybody for joining us. I really appreciate that. It's always nice to see everyone here, and it's especially nice today.
Yeah. It's especially nice today. We are for sure doing 2 more of these if Marion doesn't run away screaming after this. Because we think this is a really cool thing to do.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to paint in the black where I made my lines. So his jawline will be black. This first part of it, I'm just painting straight black.
Okay.
Just straight black for this. Something unusual that you don't see me do a lot.
No, why is that?
Well, in general, black grays out my paint, and I don't like to paint things just black. But for this paint, I'm going to. Because he's a paint.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted his black to be a deep black.
Yeah. Now, it appears that they were speaking in Dutch about the lack of Simply Simmons brushes in the Netherlands.
What I would say is Dollar and Rowley System 3.
Dowler and
Rowley System 3
So
is the equivalent to the Simply Simmons. And you'll want the firm filament with them too.
we'll put a description in the below.
Well, hopefully we're going to get to test some.
Yeah. But there are some, to make it easier for everyone to find them and to make it for describing them, we'll put the description in the below where you can find those alternate brushes.
I'm going to get a sharper bright, John.
Okay.
I'm going to switch to a number 6 bright. Now, if you're brand new to painting, the numbers are not universal across all brush lines. So this size number 6 bright will look different in a different brand. The other thing that you can think about is this is about a 1/2 inch wide.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're like, wow, this number 6 is ginormous,
Wow.
you're looking for about a 1/2 inch wide bright number 6. If you can't get the Simply Simmons. They're not a sponsor, just so y'all know.
We just really like the brushes.
We just really like the brushes. That is all that happened here. So I'm just painting in these areas that are black. This is my first coat of paint. Every painting has what we like to call an underpainting. And it's sort of artwork's ugly stage. All artwork goes through an ugly stage. So a lot of times what happens to new artists is they don't know that, and they just think they can't paint. When really what it is they just need to be optimistic and persevere and keep going. Unfortunately, I think so many of us have what we like to call art scars.
Mm-hmm.
Where when we were young and being creative, right, when we were enjoying the fun that is creativity, people would say things to be helpful and inform us that we didn't have what they think of as talent. So they were so helpful that they talked us out of our own creativity. And I'm surprised at how often that's a family member or an art teacher.
Huh.
You know, but it happens. Sometimes people love us, but they don't know what we need.
Well,
They want to protect us from life and everything,
That's true.
or any possible chance of ever, failing.
So next time you show your brush, if you could show us the text that's on that.
Oh, I'd be happy to.
They wanted some of our community was curious if if they have the same brushes. No, a little bit. It's almost focusing. No, it's not. I know.
Let's try this.
There you go. Yep.
All right.
I'm gonna come stunt hands you.
Are you? What am I doing? This is a lot of fun to paint in. Oh, thank you. Adjusting my mic. Sometimes when I do my sippy sippy, my mic gets off of adjustment. I'm really loving this lemonade you bought, John. Where'd you get this? It's so good. Is it organic or something? Because I don't recognize the bottle.
Okay.
The laughter coming from
I know,
Luna in the background. If you guys don't know, I have 3 children, and they will make noise during the broadcast. And I'm just glad it's laughter. So I'm just painting along the line that I drew in. You can change anything in acrylic painting, right? So if you, don't like something that you did, I'm going to move my close-up cam down here.
Okay.
If you don't like something that you did, you can always let the paint dry and then paint over it.
Yeah.
The only time you would have trouble painting something out is if the paint's still wet. And if you get these inexpensive canvases, I don't know if you can see this sort of pitting where the white canvas keeps showing through even though I'm painting it. That is because they sometimes recoat the inexpensive canvases with the plastic, which undermines the whole purpose of the gesso. I don't really know why they do it.
Yeah.
But you could re-gesso, inexpensively and not have that problem. But everything in painting is layers. Ogres like in Shrek,
Yeah.
in paintings, they have layers.
So we have a lot of questions and comments coming in.
Oh, I would love to answer questions and comments.
There's just there's a lot of them. So first, I'd like to say that there's a lot of people thanking us and Marion for having the extra interpreter here. So we think that's really cool. We're going to keep trying to do that. And I'll go back to some of the specific questions about art.
I would happily answer some specific questions about art.
But what's the difference between a flat and a bright?
A flat and a bright. A flat is generally longer bristled. A bright will have shorter bristles and be a little firmer. Flats are used for either washes or blending big backgrounds.
Gotcha. In a minute, I may have to ask you to show those for us.
I have here. Simple. Because I have a bright and a flat in the same size. So these are both number 12s. This one right here is a flat, and this one is a bright. And this one is got a stiffer bristle because the length of this bristle softens the flick.
Gotcha.
So a shorter bristle makes the flick stiffer, and a longer bristle makes it softer.
Okay, cool.
Same size brush.
Yeah.
Easily confusing, I think. Don't you, John?
Yes.
Like, if you're like, oh, everyone is confused by that. I know experienced artists that don't know that. So don't worry if that wasn't something that you were really familiar with. We have a whole video on brushes on our art quest.
Now, this is just the underpainting, right?
This is just an underpainting. What we're doing is we're getting our first layer painting in. I think acrylic painting happens in the last 20% of the painting.
You mean it comes together?
Comes together, yeah. Where it starts to look like what you want it to look like. And you spend a lot of the painting going, oh no, I don't like this. But when you paint it a long time and you get some experience and you realize, oh, that's just how this is, and you don't worry about it as much.
Yeah.
A finished painting is always impressive. Even when you're very new and maybe you don't have all the art skills yet,
Mm-hmm.
just finishing it will always, always look really good.
So there's a group of people from that are looking to ship from Europe that are looking to group together to buy some Simply Simmons brushes and ship them over.
Okay. I don't blame you.
They just can't find them over there.
No, because they don't they only have them in North America, but the company is over there as Dollar and Rowley, and System 3 is their equivalent.
Gotcha.
But I don't know that they have. Here's the difference: the System 3s have a lifetime guarantee.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's interesting.
The Dollar and Rowleys do not. And have I ever cracked them? Yes, I have. I have cracked a couple of them, but I do leave them in water like a ridiculously amount of long time, and that will crack any brush.
And
To just be abandoned in water overnight.
it's fair to say that most of your brushes spend more time soaking in water than dry.
It's fair to say that, yes. That would be the part of the art teaching that you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
Don't copy my brush care. I have 3 kids and a crazy life, and we do this YouTube thing full time now. And between all the stuff that we do for that, you wouldn't think you have to work as hard as you do for YouTube, but you do.
And
So it's busy and it's crazy, and I forget brushes.
and that totally explains everything currently. But for the last 20 years,
Can I blame my mom? So I have gotten all his little black spots in, which I'm rather enjoying. And I'm going to mix the lighter area of him. And what I like to do for white is, now for the white, I'm not going to do just white. And that would be something, if you were new to painting, you would think, oh, I'll paint these areas white, and then it won't look quite right. We're going to make a darker gray color, and that's the base. And then we're going to add highlights and whites to it. And then that will become our white area. So I'm going to take a little black over to my blue. I'm going to mix them together. And then I'm going to pull some white. It takes very little of the dark color to tint. So less is more when tinting white. And this is where you can kind of like clean up your edges. Right? You can clean up your edges here. I'm just painting this in because we're going to come back with lighter paint and create the shape and shadow. And this is true in acrylic paint. If you were a watercolorist, if you normally painted watercolor, you would do this almost the opposite of what I am doing. You would paint your lightest colors first and add darker and darker as you went. But in acrylic paint, a lot of times you lighten a dark area, adding highlights to it. So that's, I think, what messes up a lot of watercolor artists when they first start acrylic painting, is their natural art process is just a little different than how acrylic painting works.
yeah.
And I really like this light blue tone in this gray very much. After this, I'm going to be changing up my water, though. So I'm just trying to get this coat of paint on here. I don't have to be too crazy about my brush directionality. Are you still back there, John? I think you went to go get the kids. Are you there?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
I didn't know you left.
I left.
I'm talking to you.
I was stunt handsing.
Were you stunt handsing?
I was.
It's a special, special thing.
So, we've lost a mod. Shay is gone.
Why is she gone?
She got blocked. And we can't
No, I
unblock
made her a mod, so
I
she
know,
wasn't blocked.
But it's still blocking her.
It's still blocking her?
Yep. So we have to go on a mission.
I will write YouTube, Shay.
We will find you.
You're not in my blocked list, right? You're not anywhere I can unblock you. John went to look at it, and I was like, oh, well, I'll make Shay a mod, and that'll fix it, because how could you block a moderator?
But it did anyway.
It did anyways. YouTube is a really good thing, but it's not perfect. So
we'll get it fixed.
we'll get it fixed. I'm going to bring some more of this gray mixture that I made over to my white. I've changed out my water because my water was getting a little dirty. That's something that you're going to want to do on occasion, is change your water.
So Sass is asking, and I'm sorry if I'm. Woo, we're having Skype difficulties. Whoop, whoop,
Uh-oh.
whoop, whoop, whoop.
Let's see if we can get her back.
I'm sure it'll come back. And if
Oh, wait a second.
Boop-a-doo.
I see the beach ball of death, and she's back.
It's magic. Technical difficulties.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be some.
Yep, it happens.
I think everybody understands.
So I'm gonna go back and take a look. I wonder how long we've been broadcasting so far. I don't really know.
We never have to think about that, but
It says 36 minutes.
okay. So, at about an hour, we're going to stop for Q&A and let
hold on a
Marion
second.
have a break.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back over because it's she can't see us, so I'm gonna have to go fix a camera here just a second.
Oh, okay.
So we can see her, but she can't see us. So give me just a moment. And
So we're going to be doing a thing at an hour. We're going to let Marion rest because, as you can see, and again, it's killing me not to watch her because I think this is so beautiful. The way that she does this, I think, is so beautiful. But it's physically exhausting.
okay.
And traditionally, a sign language interpreter, if for something this long, I guess they would change out people and allow people to rest. But of course, in true Heart Party style, we're all just powering through like we do.
I'm going to try to call her back real quick.
So that's what's happening on that. And
Hold on
we'll,
just a second.
at the 1 hour mark, let her have a little rest.
Yeah.
She's being really brave to do this.
And-
This
and-
is sort of new territory.
Actually, we're having just some minor technical difficulties, so I'm going to try to take my camera.
Okay. We're just all good. I
There we
think
go.
everybody's willing to hang in with us to make this work.
Yeah, I think I just had to push the button again. It's button pushing. I don't always do it right or in the right order.
If you are here following along with Marion, please let us know because we would love to say hi.
So hold
Nobody
on.
would know that because I just said it out loud. Marion's not here to translate it.
Oh, she's back. Hold on. I'm getting her back. Hold on.
I can see you now, but I can't see myself.
There we go.
Okay. I was going to say, if you're following along with Marion, please let us know because we would love to say hi.
Oh, yeah.
And
Now-
even if later on the replay, if you catch this later, if you find us, because there's not a lot of art content like this out there with American Sign Language. If you find us and you're using this, let us know because we definitely want to say hi.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. No, I'm fairly sure that we've got multiple people out here.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, I've seen them scroll by quickly.
That's the thing, is the chat goes by so quickly.
It does.
So I'm just painting this gray in on his face too. Catching his little eye.
So let me go back over here.
Catching his little nose. I'm so glad Marion's braving this with us. We gotta love YouTube though. This is a free service that they just give us to do with what we want.
Yep.
We actually looked at getting this episode with some software closed captioned, but found out our lessons are too long for the YouTube software. Is that correct, John?
What's that? I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm over here reading the comments.
Now, under the mouth here,
You get the close-up camera.
I'm going to move to close-up camera. I'm going to darken this. I'm going to wipe off my brush, the paint off my brush. And I'm going to darken that area just a little more than everything I've been painting in the gray.
Okay.
I'll just paint that a little bit darker. Yeah, so we do have all of our episodes. The viewers can contribute closed captions.
That's true. Yeah.
So if you are an incredibly fast typist and this doesn't seem daunting to you, you could help us close caption our episodes as well. But the software won't do it because we're too long.
It's true. But we're working on some other software that we're going to work on.
Yeah.
Now, Sass was asking a question. Do you keep dipping your brush in water as you get paint, or you...
When I feel that my brush is dry and the paint isn't flowing off nicely, I will dip in water. I will dip more often in the studio when we're filming than I would in regular life because we have so many lights above me
Mm-hmm.
and it's so hot that it dries my paint out really fast. If you were to live in a hot, dry area, your paint will dry out very fast and you may have to use a micro mister or wet palette wetting spray, which is just a way of keeping your paint wet without breaking down the paint. Though water is free and water is fine.
Yep. Works pretty good.
Water's free, water's fine. So we're just painting this up. And we've got him sort of laid in there. Now I want to take a little of my cadmium red to my burnt sienna and even a little of my yellow ochre. So little cad, a little burnt, a little yellow ochre, and I get this sort of super tanned tone.
You have to push the palette up a little bit.
Like this?
There you go.
Okay. And I'm going to just paint inside this nostril. I'm going to be changing this out, but this is just that first underpainting coat of paint. And I'm going to enjoy. All right. And then interestingly enough, I'm going to take a little of this color over to my black. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. It's almost as crazy as the background music I have.
What do you have as
I
background
don't know. I had
music?
some Hawaiian music.
Why not?
I don't know because it got in rotation.
I'm going to just paint in his eye with this brownish gray. It's got, because I use the little skin tone there, it's got a little pink tint to it. And it will actually work out really well when I start laying in his eye. It's a loud day with the kids today.
They are being noisy.
Just noisy for Saturday. Just noisy. Oh, I got a sippy sippy.
So while you're sippying, Valerie was asking, have you figured out how to keep your nozzle from not clogging on the lubricating spray or the
I soak it in acetone. It clogs for me. I haven't figured out how to not keep.
The
I
wetting
clean
spray?
it. Yeah, I clean it all the time, and it still clogs. So I periodically just turn the whole thing over into a little cup of acetone.
So Marion's having a little trouble technically hearing us. So
Uh-oh.
show the bottle. So and the nozzle gets clogged on that. So you've not had much help with that.
No, it does get clogged. Can she hear us at all?
A little bit.
Okay.
She's having some trouble. I'm going to see if I can help tune that back up for her.
Yeah, do that. Tune that back up for her. I like it. So he's coming in pretty well. John's going to figure out how to help Marion hear us better. We're going to get better and better at this every time we do it.
We're going to try.
Well, I have weird hair problems. Sometimes I get crazy hair going. I will sippy again while
Okay.
John's getting Marion's sound back.
I'm going to try that. Okay. So we're going to try that snowball.
All right.
Okay. I think we got it going again.
Do you? You may need a second coat of black, believe it or not, for your horse. I do. A little thing that you can do on the second coat that's sort of interesting is add a little blue to it. It'll show up a little.
Yeah.
Just a little, and it's quite nice. It's like when you have black hair and you add that blue dye to it. It's just a nice thing, and it'll make the color seem very deep and rich. And for this painting, we want this color to be very deep and rich.
So we've had about 2 or 3 big thank yous that have gone to Marion here just in a row, and I wanted to make sure I passed those along as I see them.
Yes, please.
So.
Did you see who they were from?
I saw one was Bonnie and a different Bonnie than our usual Bonnie. A new Bonnie.
A new Bonnie. Hi, new Bonnie.
And I'll scroll back up, and I think Audie and of course all of our community has been saying thank you, but we've got some new people who I don't recognize.
That's wonderful.
And of course, I need a bigger screen because I can't see any of the tiny words as they scroll by.
You
Cheryl's
do.
thanking. Cheryl's a new person who I don't recognize.
And then you're like, Cheryl's like, I'm here every week.
Yeah, of course. She's like, what do you mean? I've been here since, the beginning. I'm like, of course.
So I'm just painting in back where I had that black, just deepening that color. That's all I'm doing is I'm just deepening it. That's pretty exciting. I am thrilled to have the opportunity to do this. And I was so glad when Marion was willing to come help us with this idea.
So Heather she took ASL in college, and she enjoys watching. So,
well, I've kind of learned from Marion that American Sign Language interpretation is an art form as much as it is a language. That the emotion of the interpretation is as key as the actual sign itself.
Yeah.
And I thought that was sort of wonderful, and I've been just learning a lot from her. So that's been great.
Yeah. And I'll have to say we have over 240 people here with us, and over 150 likes, I think.
Wow, thank you.
I see 143 right now, and that was my last refresh. So thank everyone for coming. I appreciate it so much.
And if you know anyone who wants to paint, who would love this American War Pony, share it.
Please.
Share it. Getting more black paint. I know this is the pony that, as a little girl I had in my heart. He's not a historically accurate war pony by any means. He's definitely a fantasy war pony.
Yes. Oh my. The chat's going by really fast today.
Is it?
I look over here. It's like I glance away from it to watch the screens.
Well, we're training our daughter to do the switching, so John, or she's either going to do the reading or the switching.
I think she'll run the keyboard. She'll push some buttons before she's on the mic.
Well, we never know what she's going to say. It's always a surprise. So I'm just adding that second coat in. And I'm painting, like if you were painting a student grade paint, right, like Liquitex Basics, you might need 3 coats.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that's all it is. That's the difference. Can you paint with the student grade paint? Yes, you can. You just buy the best paint your budget comfortably allows. You don't want to stress your budget.
Yeah.
That takes the fun out of painting. Stress yourself. I just love him. He reminds me of Diane's Stallion Checkmate.
Oh, our friend, yeah.
Yeah. Little bit of my pony, a little bit of Checkmate. Checkmate was not a pony. He was the opposite of a pony. He was the biggest horse in the universe.
Yes.
Has a big, big animal.
Giant horse.
Big and really mellow and goofy. Just for a stallion, he was just mellow and goofy.
Hmm.
Not that I ever would have taken my eyes off of him for 2 seconds.
No.
No. So I'm just putting out more black paint. And
Yep.
so this is the one, like, I have barely touched my black paint for a really long time, but I've gone through more of it today than I have in a long, long time.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But now you can see I have this deep, rich color. And that's going to really impact my painting in a positive way. So sometimes it's knowing that you need that next coat. I might need a new cup of water, John.
Well, we're at about 50 minutes in here.
Do you want to do the break?
Let's see how Marion's doing.
Okay.
Marion says, yes, break?
Yes, break.
Okay.
She's like,
All right.
you people talk a lot.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go whooping. And she disappears so she can go break. And
You can get me fresh water.
yeah, and when I see her come back, then I'll let you know.
So we're going to get water and do a Q&A.
Yeah.
I know you guys don't mind this break at all because you can see. Can you imagine if you had to translate me physically? Can you even imagine?
Oh, there's
how-
lots of yays for Marion right now. Lots
Tired
of hugs
you would be.
and thank yous. So lots of people are saying thanks right now. I'll let you do your QA while I go over and get you some more water.
You got to give me a Q.
I gotta get you what?
Well, I can't Q&A without a Q.
Oh well, no cues. You just have to ad lib the cues.
I'm ad-libbing the Qs.
Well, Rhea was teared up by Marion's performance, and a lot of people were saying how nice and how appreciative they were for all.
Yeah.
For this, so
Yeah. I did a bunch of research on this before, and I was surprised at how little art instruction there is.
So one of the questions I did see from earlier, I'll leave you with this while I run and get you some water.
Okay.
Is that they were finding some of the Simply Simmons packages at Walmart, and what were you thinking of those?
So what I would say is that they have several lines of brushes, and they have a multi-purpose brush, which is not as stiff as the extra firms, which is one of the reasons why I didn't realize what a Bananas Amazing brush the Simply Simmons is, because the multi-purpose brush is a softer brush. It would be perfect for like a Donna Dewberry one-stroke painting, but not as ideal for our heavy-bodied paint. So I didn't notice it. But is it a good brush? Yeah, it's a well-manufactured brush. Like the Simply Simmons, you know what's never going to happen to you with Simply Simmons, or at least I haven't seen it yet, and I've done terrible things to them, is none of the hairs are going to fall out on your canvas. How annoying is that, right? When you like go to paint and it's like just shedding, and you're like, I didn't want a bunch of hairy canvas. What's happening? You know? That is just something Simply Simmons isn't going to do to you. The micro packages, which has the teeny tiny, see if I have one somewhere. Please. Here we go. Thank you. Which has these super small brushes. Those aren't extra firm, but they're so tiny and tightly wound that they come across as extra firm. And that's always in a package. And I like those quite a lot. I'm going to be testing their paint. I am really hoping that this company's acrylic paint is kind of like its brushes, where I'm going to be like, boom, here's an economy paint that works really, really well, but I got to take it through its paces. So that's a lot of what we're going to be doing on, see, I'm doing this again, on Periscope, is testing the paint, making sure it doesn't lift during varnish. Does the layers hold? How reliable is it? Is it ever gummy? That kind of, the usual stuff that one thinks about when painting. Do we have another question? I'm feeling weird because I got just my flower headband today, not a full hat.
So yes, there was a question about color mixing. Did you have to study some sort of special color mixing to be able to just, match a color that you see from a painting? How did you do that?
Okay, so the honest truth is I did go to college and I did study art. I studied advertising art at Prairie View A&M. And so, of course, we did color charts. We did everything. I'm sharing all that stuff for free with you guys on ArtQuest. But I learned color mixing from my mom, Ginger Cook. We painted. I grew up painting. She always had art supplies. She wasn't, for as instructional as she is to you guys, she kind of was like let me run wild and just dropped materials and then exited. It was sort of the thing. But I was painting all the time, and that was just certainly something that I had the materials and the support to learn. So I came into college with a better understanding of color than really anyone around me at that time.
Gotcha.
Been painting with, like, acrylic paint's so little. Like, my kids have been painting with acrylic paint. Like, as soon as they can get the brush in their hand and paint, we're like, watercolors, acrylics, chalk pastels, whatever it is, I just give it to them. So they'll probably come out of it with that sort of understanding.
So a lot of our community is saying they're loving your periscopes recently. They've been joining you. They want more After Dark periscopes.
More After Dark. I think we should. I really think that we should do some more periscopes, especially now that we can do tutorials. That was really fun. Did everyone see the dandelion I did on Periscope today? Oh, I see Marion.
You see her back?
She's back.
Hold on. There she is.
She's back. She's ready to go. All right. Break over. Let's paint. No more break for you. It's so much fun.
All right. So Kelly went and got some chocolate. I did too.
Did you get chocolate?
I had chocolate.
She got me more lemonade.
You want more lemonade?
Mm.
Okay, hold on.
It's almost gone.
See, I don't actually leave you alone anymore. I leave you with Marion, who takes the same opportunity to sippy sippy.
Oh, Marion's doing sippy sippy too. Good for Marion. Stay hydrated. That's an important thing. So, even though this is a pretend painting, it's flat. Obviously, this horse doesn't exist in the real world. We're making him up in our hearts and our imagination. He exists in a world where there is imaginary sun up over here, and it's shining down on him. And to make it feel like he's real, I have got to lighten some of the space where I think the sun would be hitting him and lightening up this flat space across his face plane. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be shaping out his face next. And then after we get him all shaped out and painted in, we're going to paint the mane. And then once the mane is all in, we're going to come back and paint the nose and the eye, which are two of my favorite things to paint on a horse. And we're going to really talk about the nose and the eye. One thing I will say, and horse people have probably already noticed, I tend to get a little big-eyed on my horses. It's just how I am with it. I have embraced it. You know, I can get it down to completely anatomically correct, but I just like the bigger eye. But this blue eye actually is from the horse that I was inspired by. So he is a blue-eyed horse. I'm just saying. I'm going to get a little bit of just white, and I'm going to just get a corner of the burnt sienna, so there's just a small amount. And I'm going to come along here. Make sure my brush is not too... I'm going to pull my up-close camera up in there. So my pressure, my brush pressure, is very light. And my brush is pretty dry. I don't mind if a little of the tone from underneath is showing through. That is okay. And I'm just following along this line here because this is the brightest part of his face. Getting caught the most sunlight. And then down the nose just a little bit. All right, here with this light color. But not all the way down the lip. And then back up the bridge of the nose. All right. And I'll feather that out just a little bit. Now I'm going to get a little yellow, interestingly enough. Small amount. And add some white to it. And I'm going to add a little of this yellow and white up here. Not everywhere. Just a little bit to the outer right. And then maybe a little at the top of his nose right here, curving it down like that. Isn't that fun?
It is.
It's fun. I like it.
So
I like it.
So Alan was saying that his little brush Brooke has been glued to the iPad or the computer since you've been painting the pony.
Well, it is good to have you join us, Brooke.
Yeah. We have over 234 little people out there painting with us.
It's
I'm pretty happy.
True. So I mixed a little of my cad red, a little of my red with my yellow ochre, and then I added some black to it. Right, and I'm going to take just a little more black over to it. And now I'm going to add a little white. There we go. And I'm going to start shaping around here, just a little bit. Dry brush.
Oh, you hit to adjust your close-up.
Okay, thank you for catching that. There we go. Dry brush. Just dry brush it. A little more black. A little more white. We're just dry brushing this. Adding this. Now you can see where like a little extra black got picked up on my brush and I just worked it in. That's a little something that will happen as you paint. You'll just start to feel more confident about what's happening. So even if something sort of unexpected goes on, I'm curving this up around the edge here. Curving this up. Coming along the top. Feathering this down. Now as I'm going to get a little more white paint. I'm going to kind of soften this here. Bring this around. I want to definitely soften, soften, soften. My brush is a little dry, so I'm going to just add enough where I can get some nice blend going here. Just working it. So what I'm trying to do is say that this is the lightest, and then as we come down it gets darker and darker because he's really a cylinder, right? So we're just really shading him. I'm going to come here, add a little here, and I'm going to switch to, where's that bright? Oh, there it is. I'm going to switch back to my number 6 bright. I'm going to do an interesting thing here. I'm going to take a little of my blue over to my black. And I'm going to mix a soft gray. Not a dark, dark, dark gray. But a soft gray. I'm going to come around his eye with this soft gray. Just softly coming around his eye.
You get the close-up on that.
Do we need
Everybody
to get
loves the camera on the close-up.
I love it too. Let me know whenever I got to move it. That's what makes these good. So I'm coming up on the top of his lid here. And you know, he would have a little shadow right there. Coming back, he's got a little temple. I'm going to wipe my brush. I'm going to pull some white into it. Now, I didn't rinse it, so just a small amount of that pigment will still be on it. So it won't be totally white. That's just a little trick you learn to do. Now I'm going to soften that there. I'm going to come here and make sure I soften this here. I'm going to come down the nose. And I'm going to come this outside. Let me move this back down because this is what happens as I get to moving around the face. Just on this outer nostril. And coming down on this outer side of the lip. And then I'm going to just curve this little brush stroke in. Just a small amount. See how that creates a shape to his lip? And then I'm going to leave a little shadow here. And I'm going to add just a little bit right there. And that helps create the sense of his nose happening right there. And then I'm also going to, between this part of the cheek and this nostril, I'm going to add just a small amount of highlight. This is a very light, soft, dusty pressure. Right, we want to keep it light, keep it mellow. Wipe my brush, not rinse it. Come over a little blue, a little black. And I'm getting a darker gray. I'll dip my brush. I don't want it super wet though. I just want to have some fluidity. I'm going to come under his little lip here. Right. And a little bit like a little smile thing here, and I'm going to come right under his jaw, but not all the way up. I'm going to leave some of that little blue peeking out and just darken this just a little bit here. Can we see that, John?
Yeah.
Now come back, get a little blue. I wipe my brush, I get a little blue. So I've got this sort of gray here, and I'm going to come just under here and make just a little of a highlight right there. Important stuff. Rinsing that. Everything okay?
Yeah.
Okay. You were laughing, so I was wondering if that, she's crazy.
You're always crazy.
I'm always crazy. I've got some white right here, and I'm going to come up just above this lip with that white. Because this little lip, believe it or not, horses are a little pouty in their lips. There we go. So I got some nice shading there.
Yeah.
I'm going to come back because I feel like the shading here, the highlight here is just not quite pronounced enough. I'm going to come with this light right here.
There you go.
Light. Just making sure that just nice and bright right there. All right, we're doing good there. Now we're going to work. Make sure I dry brush that just a little bit to tone that back. Sometimes you can tone something back as easily dry brushing as if you do wet into wet. Just an interesting thing that can work. I'm going to get some white onto my paintbrush. Now I'm going to leave this a darker color right here. But I'm going to add the lighter here. So I'm saying that this is a little bit in shadow. We can hear you murdering each other.
Children playing with quotation marks playing.
So I know I've got a shadow here on his neck, and I'm trying to preserve that as I am lightening this space right here. My brush is dry, not too wet, so it allows for it to skip over the canvas a little bit. Create some shading.
That makes sense.
I definitely will want some shadow under there, so I'm not gonna take that out as I go. I'm coming down here, allowing the gray to show through. But now I can take my white to both sides. Just leaving the little shadow here. And that's how we're creating the illusion of his shape, his round belly, because he's a well-fed pony.
Yeah, I think all ponies are well fed.
Because you know what? They demand it. Try to not feed a pony well. They'll get you.
They bite.
They're smart, and they'll find you later.
And they push the other horses out of the way.
They do. My pony used to grab feed sacks that he knew the other horses were afraid of, and he would wave them around.
Rustle them.
To rustle them to chase the other horses off so they could get their grain. So we were always worried he was going to founder because he could get too much grain. Because he would trick the other horses.
Yeah.
He also used to chase people too, so like insurance salesmen. Anyone he thought he could chase off or mess with, he would. So you can see how that's brightening up. And I'm going to add a little yellow to my brush and come back into my white. Just a little. And I'm going to add just a couple places, really light pressure. This is like I'm just kissing, I'm just dusting. This would be like if you had eye makeup, you were blending. Just as gentle as you could be. And not everywhere. You don't want to paint out all the white. You just want to create a couple little spots of sunlight.
Mm-hmm.
And I still feel like I need one at the nose, so I'm going to just put it there real quick just because I still feel like I need one right there. And I like it, so I'm going to keep it. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to rinse out my brush. And now I'm going to do, and this is challenging but fun. I'm going to create the highlights on the black parts of the horse. So I'm going to pull a little white into my brush. It's not really heavily coated in paint. You can kind of see how dry it is.
Yeah.
I'm going to come up to the ear. And I'm going to create just a little soft highlight right there. See that? Just nothing.
I do.
And then I'm going to create a leaf shape inside the ear. And then I'm going to come in this bottom and pull out a little hair. Little bit of long hair. That's all I'm doing on that ear.
Can you pull that close up on that? Adjust
I
that a
thought-
little bit?
Even more?
Well, just other way.
Oh,
There we
okay.
go.
Because I've got
Perfect.
to adjust for Marion. I'm getting used to it. It's totally good. So I'm curving this. I'm following the line of the ear.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pull just a small dusting out. See? That's a little bit of hair in his ear. Just keeping just a dust, a small amount of paint on my brush. I'm going to come down to the jaw and the neck. And right here, I'm going to just see how light this is.
Yes. Very
Just
light.
so light. And that's your trick. How light and how dry. And I'm going to curve and follow the shape of the jaw. And then I'm going to just along the neck. Just so light. And a little bit there. Just so light. And I'm just going to, this is about gentleness. Now I know there's sun happening here, right? So just a couple little reflections there. And I know there's sun on his little round bummy, his little round butt. So I want to dust there, and then I'm going to just, look, there's some reflection there. So now he has some shape. How exciting is that? We get to do the mane, which
Yeah.
is super fun.
So, how much paint was on your brush when you were doing the hair there? Can you show me?
Yeah, let's see if we can see it on that because it's still loaded. See how dry that is, how lightly dusted? So this is how much I'm doing when I'm doing that brush. When I'm painting, I try to run a bead like this. So if I were painting an area, I'd have that much paint. When I'm doing a dust, I have this amount of paint. Can we see the difference?
Yes.
Okay. So that's how that's different. I'm a sippy.
Oh, yeah. I need some coffee, I think. Oh,
Do you
man.
need some coffee? I feel like I need the second round of coffee, but I'm doing lemonade.
I'm not really a coffee drinker.
I know.
I
You
don't
should
do
do some
coffee.
tea. You should do some thistle tea.
More orange juice.
Or orange juice. Orange John's Land orange juice. Now there's a couple brushes that are really wonderful for doing hair. A bright like this is lovely. And also a 1/2-inch angle is lovely. And I'm going to switch to a 1/2-inch angle.
Why not just use a hairbrush?
You're so funny. And I'm going to wet my brush, and I'm even going to mist my palette because it's a little bit dry.
Okay.
And I'm going to get some just yellow, load it up, load it up, load it up, load it up. I've got the short part of my brush. It's going to lead out on the stroke, and the long part of the bristles are going to finish it. I'm going to plant. Let's make sure I'm where I'm supposed to be. I'm going to plant. Firm pressure at the beginning of the stroke. I'm going to arc down and then come up and flow off. I'm going to get a little white and I'm going to add it to my yellow ochre. This will also help with its coverage. And I'm going to press and then come off. So I'm loading up. When John comes back, he'll help you. But this is the load I'm using right now for this mane. It's okay. We're good. And I'm just bringing this mane up between the horse's ears. And I get these tapered ends by lightening my pressure as I paint out. That's how I get that. It's okay that some of the canvas is showing through. That doesn't bug me at all. And I'm going to run a little mane down his neck back here. What?
We have tea questions being asked in chat. I just find it amusing what comes through here.
Everybody gets what they need.
They do. They do. It's all there in chat.
I've added a little burnt sienna, and I'm going to just come down and flow, and it's going to come into the neck, tapering into the neck. I haven't mixed. How I get this, the little streaky bits that make it feel like hair, is I don't mix it so much that it can't streak on the canvas. And then right here, just a little bit down from this, I'm going to flow, and it's going to come around and flow like that. You see where the little hair flows? Where the little hair flows. Kind of like where the red fern grows, it's where the little hair flows. So don't let any of this panic you or worry you. This is just paint. It's just a mane.
Just a mane.
Just a mane.
Now, everyone's digging how maney that mane is.
Mane needs to be very maney.
Yeah.
I'm going to even grab a little yellow here. I'm getting a little yellow on my brush. Just coming here. Getting a little white.
Little white.
Yeah. So I've got some mane coming in. I'll come back with some turquoise and some other colors in a minute. Right now I want to get in some horse going. So I'm going to get a little black, a little brown. I'm going to come along here. Now my trick here is that I start on my edge. Let me make sure I've got my close-up camera where that is. I start on my edges.
Wait, to watch that there.
Right? So I'm keeping these edges of the line of his face clean. And that's the other reason the half-inch angle is one of my favorites for this, because it allows me to do that and then switch to a flowy mane
Ah.
really easily with very little work or effort. And the mane is a couple of layers. You'll be at it for a second.
I see.
And that's okay. How are we loving life?
Wow. So I was just reading that a lot of our communities are horse people.
Yeah.
We have a lot of horse people here.
Yes, they are our people.
So we had a couple people ask if we're going to be doing ASL on a regular basis, and we're going to try.
We're going to try.
We're going to try
That's something
keeping
we
this up.
very dearly would love to have. We have the next 3 Saturday lessons are scheduled,
Mm-hmm.
and Marion has agreed to be with us, and that is really a blessing.
So we're going to see if we can keep this up for a while.
Yeah. But the cornflowers and the rainbow birch trees are
Yeah.
all ASL lessons. I'm going to pull some white into this mix. So this load is very heavy. Can we see how heavy that load is?
Yeah.
So I'm loading my paint very heavily.
You have to adjust your close-up camera. We're
Okay.
a little behind the
A little behind the thing.
box.
Show me where. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
So you see how I'm just trying to keep that nice edge up to his nose? Grab some just blue now, interestingly enough. Crazy as that is. Look at that blue.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun for me. This is what I'm doing. I'm just pulling down. This line is very organic and fluid. There's There's a lot of ways to paint Maine, though. So don't get too caught or stressed out on the way that you're painting the Maine. How you're doing it is just as good and valid as how I'm doing it. I'm adding a little brown to my mix. I'm going to come along here. I'm just going to make sure that I keep a nice edge. Little Maine's going to flow down back into him
Mm-hmm.
from here. And it's just about finding the flow and imagining the wind. It's amazing how some of the things that you did as a kid when you drew are still so very important when you're drawing now.
Mm-hmm.
How imagining the wind blowing through the hair and kind of making the sound in your head about being present in the painting. And there's so much that you can say in art. You can convey so much in such a small space.
You're just drawing those out off the edge, huh?
Just having fun.
Bonk. I keep banging my mic with my leg.
Get you? So the trick to this is that you can see I'm not over mixing my paint. I'm allowing it to streak.
Oh, giving that painterly effect.
Yeah, we want that painterly effect.
You
We
want
want it bad.
Can you demonstrate that load on your brush?
Yeah, so say I'm going to add some white to this. I've got this paint sort of already on there.
Go over here.
All right, and now I'm going to add a little white
I'm not gonna go down another one.
here.
There you go.
So can we see, does it need to be here?
You can be anywhere.
Right, there you go. See how there's just, it's not mixed?
Yeah. But see,
Look
it's
at
kind of hard. Can you maybe do that with a red? Because your brush is brown. So it's kind of hard.
Well,
Maybe
I'm
the
not
blue.
putting the red here.
Oh, when you do the blue and white.
Okay. So, but you can kind of see it as it's coming out
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
I'm going to come here and see.
It's nice how that mixes out.
Yeah, and that's what you want. You want a little of that to mix out. There we go. I've got to let it dry a little bit to get the red in, interestingly enough. And then the next layer I get to put in, which is I think really fun, I get to put in some of their turquoise as his little mane flows out.
That's a good one to show. Can you show?
So
that?
I'm going to get some yellow. Let's see if we can get this. And I'm going to get some blue.
Okay, hold on. Now come over them. There we go. Now we can see it.
Right, and then I'm going to pick up some white.
Those are not mixed.
Those are
just
not mixed.
piled on.
They are just piled on. Super fun stuff. But watch. Wait, let me get the up-close camera up here. This is going to be fun. And there they go. See how they create the color on the canvas? I'm going to get a little blue and a little white.
Audie's complaining I tuned her out. I didn't tune you out. I just couldn't read the comments.
Tune Audie out. First of all, not even possible to tune Audie out. That's an impossibility.
I just have to go over and read the comments. I was mesmerized by your brush loading.
Yeah, so I'm just adding this turquoise into the mix. Into this mix here. See, just pulling that out. Letting those different colors flow out. I'm going to come and add a little of our turquoise mixture down in his mane too, down here. So I'm just going to show you the hot mess mixture again real fast.
There it is, focused.
See how weird that is? That's really what I'm doing. That's why I think sometimes art takes on the look of like a magic trick. Because it seems like the colors are coming from out of nowhere. But really, it's just about understanding what's going to happen when I pull this out. I'll pull a little more blue into my brush. Added that nice little Johnny, and I want a little tone up here on his neck. I'm always looking for what I can add to make him lovelier. Isn't that wonderful?
Mm-hmm.
Enjoying him so much. So many good times.
So many.
So many. I feel like I need a little darker color up here.
Why?
So that's simple.
Why do you think you need darker up there?
I feel like it's unbalanced, and I'm looking for the balance. And
Oh.
I'm looking at the original painting and going, oh, we had some darker colors up here, so let's add those just to make sure that we have them. Maybe even down here. Just a couple places.
So you're only loading one side of the brush there?
Yeah. Yeah, I generally only load one side of the brush. Now we need to let this dry a minute. I can hit it with the hair dryer, but the other thing I could do is just work on the nostril
Mm-hmm.
while it's drying. There's a whole
We hear our
conversation.
children in the background playing.
Seems less like playing now. Lemonade.
Sippy sippy.
Sippy sippy. We're all so grateful. We're all, we're definitely, I'm switching my water. We're definitely swamp family members here, and we love the sippy sippy.
No.
Those of you guys that watch a lot of YouTube, you know what we mean.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm creating a little shadow that I'm going to want to cast. This is a darker color. I'm using the phthalo blue, the black, and the white. Loaded it up, and I'm going to come here, and I'm going to start sculpting the nose. So I'm leaving like a little area here that's going to be lighter.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to come here underneath his little nostril. And I may even switch to a smaller brush. I'm going to switch to my number 6 Filbert.
Ooh.
Filberts are rounded, and this gives me a lot of control. I like to do my eyes and my noses with this type of Filbert. Are you okay?
Yeah.
I just heard you go, ooh.
I'm just watching you,
Oh,
and
well, okay.
I'm marveling at Marion and all of the people who are thanking her, and it's just been.
I'm going to have to just re-watch just to watch Marion, I think. I can see where this is such an art form. So I'm pulling a shadow here
Mm-hmm.
because there would be a little shadow. Into the cavities of his nose. That's what would be happening. And I'm going to have to take a little of my yellow. I have no ochre, so I have to put out some ochre. And my cad red, I'm going to make some more of these sort of pinkish skin tones. Right? A little more of these pinky skin tones. Because
Yeah.
his nose would be really light. And it would really show that pink.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there we go. So I'm going to dab off the excess paint. So I've just got a little bit on my brush, see?
Just a little bit on there.
And then I'm going to pull it over into the white.
All right. Show your
If
brush.
I need some more pink, get some more pink in there. I'm just trying to find this, that delicate petal color.
Go down. There you go. Oh yeah.
I want that delicate petal color. And I'm going to start blending out this space here. Lightening it up. Right. Wipe off my brush. I'm going to grab some just white. And I'm going to come here and highlight this. You see this highlight?
Yeah.
Right? So we're highlighting this shape here. And I'm also going to want to highlight right here. See how that nose shape now just is pulling together?
Yeah.
Take a little of your white again. And just right here in the opening. There we go, right out to this edge. So there's that highlight there. And that's how you get a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful shape there. Now I feel like this is a little dark. And that's an easy fix. Like if you feel like it got a little dark on you,
Yeah.
get your gray, add just a little more white to it. And just come back and lighten it just some.
Just a little fix.
Just a little fix. Just soften that some. You don't want to lose it though. You want that shadow.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how you would do that. Now I'm going to get some red paint and just work my red into my mane because I think it'll be okay now. I'm going to still have to wait on my feathers.
The feathers.
The feathers and the handprint. Handprint, I think, because it's Luna's hand, is going to be the very last thing.
Yes.
So I'm going to grab just some red. Load it up. Now, one thing when you're painting hue over true cadmium is it will not be as pigmented.
What does that mean?
Well, the pigment for real cadmium is just rich. It just saturates your eye and fills you up. Whereas hue is like that color, but like that color less. Kind of like Diet Coke.
Okay.
Diet Coke is like Coke, but not like Coke.
It's not, I don't know if you've ever drunk Diet Coke.
I
It's
have.
Nothing like Coke.
Well, that's how I feel about cadmiums. But cadmium hue is good if you're working with kids because true cadmium should never ever be eaten. But in general, never eat paint.
Yeah.
Just generally. Don't ever eat paint.
Yeah.
So just down here, because I know I'm going to want to have this big feather here, I'm going to add just a little tendril of red hair that comes off this way and off that way. We just want that red pop. And then I'm going to make sure I got a nice load, and I'm going to come and we're going to do maybe off here.
So,
Just a little red there,
Emmy,
and a couple little over here.
so Emmy was asking how to make her reds brighter,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm guessing the answer is use CAD?
Is this Emmy the mastermind?
No,
Oh,
a different Emmy.
yes. The brightness of your reds is about, are they cool or warm reds? Because warm reds will feel brighter, and especially if they're against a cool red. And then, I keep doing that. Gotta go the right way. And then the other thing is when you paint like a true cadmium, there's the reds. You know how we talk about there's series of paints, and the higher the series, the more expensive they are.
Yes.
I think cadmium, real cadmium, is a series 7. I'm going to look. I have it here. It's a, series 9, but the series goes up and up and up and up and up and up.
So what is titanium white?
Titanium white is a series 1. 1 is your cheapest paint. So that's what they're talking about when they're talking about the series is just how expensive that paint is. So I'm going to put a couple little streaks in the red here. Just a little bit to tie in the color that's going to be all through him, as it will be. And while we're waiting for more mane to dry, we could finish up his little eye. So back into my number 6 filbert. I'd like to point out, even in this, like, it was suggested once that the 6 meant millimeters. These are both number 6s. Not the same size. So really, you got to understand like the width and size of a brush that you're doing anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to come work his little eye. Eyes are like my favorite.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like they tell a lot of story in the painting. I feel like there's a lot of story told with eyes.
Yeah.
I'm going to put out a little more polyethylene, a little more phthalo. And put it over my red because I'm going to deepen my phthalo, I think, with a little of my red. Maybe not. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
First thing we're going to do is we're going to get that eye shape in. So I'm going to pull out some just phthalo and I'm going to get this eye in. All right. Am I there? Okay, good. I'm good. I got to check on my Marion positioning. So I'm going to make sure I want a little of the white
Our community is asking how Marion is doing.
Ah, she's got to be tired. But we're wrapping up. What's our time, John?
Let's see here.
We're just going to paint this blue orb in. Painting that in.
It says an hour and 34 minutes.
Okay. I think we're going to be wrapping up in the next 20, so I think we're going to be good. Like everything. Like even if I just very slowly paint the eye, I think we're still good.
Very slowly paint the eye.
You paint slowly. My speed is not your speed. My speed is teaching speed.
Is that what you are calling it?
That's what I'm calling it. It's teaching speed.
I thought this was a meander.
Right. You just paint at the speed that works for you. So try to remember that eyes, right, they're round. And so we're going to have to do things that make his eye feel round. And I may, for my own convenience, put out fluid black and fluid white.
Okay.
You can get the fluids by, obviously golden, but craft paint is fluid. Any soft-bodied paint is more fluid. And it just requires less work for you to get it to flow off the brush.
Gotcha.
Is all it is. But it has no body to it, so it's not ideal for everything we do.
I see.
So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to get his little lid going. See, one of the things I want to do is I don't want my hand blocking what I'm doing. How's that working, John?
I think it's doing pretty good.
All right. Now, it looks for a second like I'm putting eyeliner on him, and that is okay.
Is this a boy horse or a girl horse?
This is a boy horse.
Boy horse. What's the boy's horse name?
I don't know. We haven't named him. The original horse he was modeled from has a name, but it's like this crazy, like, long name. Like well-bred, important show horses have. He has an important long name. So I'm pulling out his tear duct here a little bit. Right. And then I'm also going to pull up a lid line.
Oops, wrong one.
So I'll be blending these things and working these things out. I just want to get these. And I'll round out this little eye section here. And I've got to shade all that. So I'm going to get a little, I haven't rinsed off the black. I'm going to get a little blue. Black. And I'm going to shade my eyeball, which I like to know that there's a shadow underneath a lid. Underneath everybody's eyelid, there should be a shadow.
Yeah.
Cast on the eyeball. I'm adding a little more paint to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you do. I'm pulling up a little more black and getting some gray. Because the whites of his eyes aren't actually white, they're gray.
They are.
I might add but a little cad to it. I'm looking for my color.
All right.
Like you do. Like you do. Looking for my color.
Elizabeth thinks that the pony's name should be Dances with Color.
Dances with Color. Well, there you go. He's been named.
But Sydney thinks Filbert would be a good name.
Filbert. We always have a lot of Filbert suggestions.
Yeah.
Have you felt that, John?
I have, but I like the name Filbert.
I like the name Filbert, too. Filbert was one of my favorite characters on Rocko's Modern Life.
Mm-hmm.
See, we tell you that we're Dorkingtons, but you don't believe us till you know we watched Rocko. Well, you and I used to watch Rocko, together, as a show. His iris is not round. It's like a caterpillar shape.
Ah.
It's really weird. It's sort of a flattened. I always think of it as a caterpillar shape, but
Yeah.
it's right there. I always like to put that centered up in the eye. All right. And I'm going to get I will continue to use my blue and black to make grays. I'm going to just line his little lid here to thin out that line because my line wasn't that thin. That's another way to thin your lines if you need them thinned,
Mm-hmm.
is to come back and paint, interestingly enough. And if you need more around his eye, more of the gray, you just put it in,
There
like
it
I'm
is.
doing right now. What you need, you put in. Rinse out my brush. I'm going to start shading his little eyeball here.
Okay.
So this is really fun. This is really about just pulling the phthalo into the white. And I'm going to very lightly come around outside of his little eye. Dust, dust, dust. Maybe a thin little line here. I like to leave the outer dark edge.
Yeah.
It's very important to leave that dark outer edge. And I'm going to come into my blue and black as I come up the top. I want a darker color coming around the top because this part is in shadow. See that?
Yeah.
And I might
Huh.
pull just a little white out of my brush. I haven't really rinsed it off. So there's a little blue in it. But I'm going to come along his lid with this lighter color. And maybe like right there. You may need to come back with even more lighter color.
Oh, we get some great names out here.
Do we have some great names out here?
Yeah. So Jen Penn was saying, cool fact, that Filbert is Spanish for cat's tongue.
Now, I did not know that.
I did not know that either. So that's kind of neat.
So I'm going to add some lashes to him and some reflection on his eyes so that he feels a little more real. And the first thing we want to do is we want to add a reflection, but we don't want it to be bright, bright white. We want it to be like a soft, soft, soft gray
Yeah.
for the first part of the reflection. And we're going to say that that is happening right here. Right here.
Yeah.
And I just dust that very softly. That's the first part of the reflection. Then the next part of the reflection, I'm going to get just white paint. And I'm going to do a little dot and then a little area. That's the reflection there. And then he needs some little eyelashes. And they are bright, bright white. I'm using it. This Filbert works really well for me for this because it's got a very, very sharp edge. But you may need to switch to a detail pen. My trick is don't make these the same length or width. And come here on the inside of his eye. Drop a couple dots of wet inside reflection here. And along this lip here. See?
Mm-hmm.
There he is. He has this beautiful eye. This beautiful, beautiful eye. And you can keep working. And I'm going to you can take a little white over here and just add just a sketch of blue to it. Just barely, that was too much. And that happens to me all the time. I'll be like trying to get a blue and I get too much going. You can just keep defining and highlighting and making this work. There's just no end to it. You can just go and go and go. Me going? Or them going?
You're faking me out there going
Oh,
for paint.
I'm sorry. I just had made a smidge, so I'm painting it out. Guess what I get to do now? Flowers, decorations, handprint. I'm going to get back into my number 6 because I like those. So I'm gonna, not flowers, feathers. What the heck am I talking about? So the first part of my feather that I'm going to get is I'm going to get some white and a little yellow oxide. These aren't mixed completely on my brush like I like to do. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to draw the basis for my big feather. So the feather's going to come up, 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 up. And maybe he's going to go off a little bit like that. And then I just, here, I think I need to adjust my camera. I'm just going to grab this and I just flick my feather shape. So it's a little yellow oxide,
Oh yeah.
right? And white. And that's the basis of this feather. And then I'm going to come around the tip, which I know I want to be a little bit rounded. If you've done the dream catcher with me, you're like, I know this technique. This just gets a feather in.
Yep.
Just gets a feather in. And I'm going to do the opposite here. I'm going to shape this out here. And the brush does a lot of the work for me.
What do you mean by that?
I mean the way that it finishes this edge here in this unperfect way. I mean, I could sit there and paint these out by hand, but it's really kind of nice that the brush just goes feather.
I see.
And how I get it to do that is when I'm flicking out, I'm lightening my brush stroke.
Ah.
Right? Now make sure the center is sort of painted in. So that's the basic shape for that little turkey feather. And I actually looked at turkey feathers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to get some yellow. I think I'll add just a titch of cad to it. And I'm going to say there's a feather that happens right here. So I'm going to say feather. Yes, the sound helps.
Oh, he does.
It does. Make sounds.
We do lots
You
of
know,
sounds.
We do lots of sounds. If you wouldn't, make body shapes. Imagine in your head. Just do something internally, that lets you know what you're creating. Kids do this naturally.
Embellish your paint stroke.
Embellish your paint stroke with theatrics is what I'm suggesting. So, like, if you've ever noticed, like, some kids when they're painting, their bodies will physically reflect what they're painting. You'll physically see it, impact them. And that's smart stuff. You should be impacted by your art.
Yeah.
So I've got that flicked out there. And then I'm going to do one more up here. Right, I come right up here. I'm going to just have one come here. Move my up-close camera. John will catch me because he's amazing, and I will look out for Marion because she's amazing. And I will just do the same thing up here. I'm just telling a little feather story. He's got jewelry. He's fabulous. Somebody loves him and dressed him up. And he knows it. My pony used to know when he was dressed up. And I've seen people with their pets and their dogs, and they know they're dressed up. They know it. I'm going to rinse this out. And then the trick here is to come back. I'm going to come back with some just white. I'm getting some just white on my brush. There it is. Just white on my brush. And I'm going to make a pattern in this feather. I'm going to go stroke, stroke, making spaces between the strokes, but not on the tip. I'm going to leave the tip as it is. Stroke. Right. Coming off the opposite side, stroke, stroke, stroke. So that's how I get that pattern on that feather. And then on this one, I'm going to do a little black and a little brown. Are you back with me, John?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to do the same here. Let's see if we've got it good positioning. I'm going to leave just the tip for the red. Space, 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 space. Come the opposite side. There we go. I'm going to get some just yellow for the one down here.
Adjust your close-up on that.
Maybe white. I'm not sure. We'll see how the just yellow looks. If it's not enough, we'll come back with some white yellow. I don't think it's going to be enough. So I'm going to do that. But I'm going to come back. I'm going to pick up some just white. See if I can create that pattern. There you go. You can see it now. You just want to see that kind of stripe pattern, that hand-painted feather pattern. Make sure that this is tipped off. So isn't that lovely?
Yes.
And then to finish that out, what we've got to do is get some little lines saying that these are the feather bones, and here's some ribbons that have tied it in. And what I like to grab is a little white, and again I'm going to use my filbert. Uh-oh.
So honey's on it.
Oh, is she on it? Okay.
Kids are kids.
Kids are kids. All right, little highlight up the feather. Let's come up here and do the other little highlight up the feather. We're almost there. Hopefully she'll be recovered to handprint.
I think so.
So, you know, we'll have to see because not every kid. I'm going to do some little ribbons off here. See, I just drew that little flirty line. And think of them as flirty. I'm going to come here and do another little flirty line. These are ribbons. Right. I'm going to come down here. And I'm going to give you another little series of ribbons. These ribbons are going to come around here and up into this feather. And then some flirty lines. There they are. Flirty. I think that our feather needs a red tip up here, don't you, John?
Yeah.
I think it does.
I think we can do that.
It could be natural, but we're going to tip it red. Because it's a war pony.
A war pony.
He's a war pony. This pony has come to throw down.
Needs some war paint.
He's got some, yeah, he needs some war paint.
Although I have to say, this looks more like a party brony than a war pony.
It has some brony about it. If you're a My Little Pony fan, it might be okay. While I'm here, though, see this red? I feel like I want some just detailing there. I'm going to just make sure that I have a little line that comes out here. And I just like that. Sometimes you just get fussy about these things. Like little finishing works. Now, I want him to have 3 little stripes across his nose. I arbitrarily decided these designs, just to be very clear.
Yeah.
There is no historical accuracy about any of this
That we know of.
that I know of. 3 little lines there. And then he could have a little circle here. And he can have a little circle around his eye. So how I would do the circle around the eye. Rinse, 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 rinse my brush. I'm going to get some Just Phthalo blue. I'm painting a number 6 bright. So that's kind of already the width that I want. So I don't really have to work at that. And I'm just going to draw a little circle around his eye. Right? Add a little white if you need the blue to show up more. Not a lot, but a little will help the blue show up more. Now this is your pony, so he could have a yellow circle around his eye. You could have triangle. If there was another symbol that was deeply meaningful to you in your journey, he could have that around his eye. It's your war paint.
You have to adjust your close-up camera so I can see that.
Uh-oh. Thank you. So
Moreover. Remember?
Yeah, that's right. Moreover.
There we go.
She's doing the finger thing like, over there. I'm here working hard. All right, so have that. I gave him some triangles so we could give him a triangle over here. If we wanted to. Some little triangles. I think I was listening to Triangle Man. So he ended up with triangles. You know, again, whatever's meaningful to you. You know, be sure to put things behind other things if they would be behind them. Like, notice I'm putting this behind his feather. So there's his little triangles. Now we're down to the Luna Bella. You ready for this? I'm going to put some dashes around his eye, but after that, it's Luna time.
Think so?
I'm just saying. I'm going to put some dashes around his eye with the red. I'll come back up. Oh, I'm on that
You're
one
on there.
Okay. So I'm going to go dash, 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 dash. She's got that beautiful. Now I got to put a little handprint here. So that's how you could hand paint in your handprint. He could not have a handprint. You could use your own handprint. You could, if you were doing hue, not cadmium, use a paw print. You just got to rinse that paw. So you'd have to have a friend that was willing to have a rinsed paw. You know, you got to have a good relationship with whoever's hand or paw you're painting. But you could do, I wouldn't suggest that you have a pet bear, but you could pretend you did and paint in a bear print. I truly, truly suggest not owning wild animals. So we need a Luna.
You think we need a Luna? All right, I'll get you a Luna.
So that's how I got my perfect handprint, was Luna Bell, and I thought that was really fun for me because you know how they send you home your kids' handprints in kindergarten and their keepsakes, and it's always like on something that's not going to last like 2 minutes in your house. I love this because it's this keepsake. This whole painting is around this keepsake of her that I'll have forever. She's 3, about to be 4 right now, and so this hand will never be the size again. And it's important. She's coming. Sometimes she's not a fan of doing her hands. She doesn't like her hands to be sticky. Hi, are you going to help me and be on the show? You want to say hi to Marion? Oh, hi, sweetie. Can I paint your hand and you help me paint my painting? Thank you. You got to show me. I got to see hand. You got to sit up. Okay, I'm going to paint it. You ready? Hold your hand up big. Remember, this is fun. There's the red paint. So I'm going to paint your hand. Paint your hand.
She's embarrassed.
Is she?
She's embarrassed. She didn't want
Hi. Oh, you're looking. No, she's looking at the pony. Is that your pony? Oh, sweetie. I'm sorry. Okay. Do you want us to do Spider? It's okay. Okay. No. Not my brother. Anyone but my brother. Kisses. I'm sorry. She's like, I'm looking at the pony right now. All right, let's try to get her hand on there. You ready to go? Go, Dad. You're on my cable. Let me switch with you. I'm going to switch with you. You come this way. There you go. Handprint. You help her put her little handprint right there. Thank you, Luna. Awesome. You did it. Say hi to everybody. Thank you, Luna, for helping me paint today. I appreciate it. You like it? Yep. Okay. So there we go. We're going to wash Luna's hand because that's the other important part if you're painting with your pet or your child or even yourself. Maybe you're making your own handprint. You know, it's your painting. You could also just if you didn't have anyone to print, you can just paint a hand in. It all works. I have to thank Marion. Oh my gosh, everybody give her a big hand of applause. That's incredible. She hung in. This is long. Marion, you did so good. Wow. We did it. This has been a dream. It's been a goal, and we did it.
And I'm back.
We're back, and we're going to wish everybody love.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to see Marion again, hopefully next Saturday for the cornflowers. I want to thank Luna. I want to thank everybody who came today. Tell us in the comments what you think. We want to see you again at the easel really soon. You have a beautiful weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, guys. Love you.